hope you're ready for the next chapter of Guinea Pigs Online. Chapter 3, Gone. Next morning, when Coco woke up and felt the sun warming her back through the window, the first thing she decided was to let Fuzzy apologise to her. She'd had a horrible dream about him running away to become a chef and leaving her all alone, which had made her feel quite miserable. "Fuzzy!" she called. There was no reply. She looked around the hutch. He wasn't there. Coco got up and opened the door of the hutch. "Fuzzy!" she called again. "Fuzzy?" She peered out. He wasn't on the rug or beside the yoga mat. The radio was off. "Where are you?" Perhaps, Coco thought, Fuzzy was still asleep and she hadn't noticed him. She rummaged in the hay where he usually slept. Fuzzy wasn't there either. Instead, she found herself gazing at a newspaper advertisement. Scarlet Cleaver gazed back at her, a chopping knife in her hand. Coco's heart missed a beat. "Guinea pigs wanted," she read. "Any variety, good money paid." The rest was torn off. So Fuzzy was right, Coco thought. Scarlet Cleaver did want real guinea pigs. But why on earth would she? Suddenly, she felt really anxious. "Fuzzy!" she cried. She waited a few minutes, but there was no reply. Coco's whiskers drooped. "He's gone," she whispered. Desperately, Coco checked to see if perhaps Fuzzy had gone off to sleep in one of his favourite places. But no, he wasn't curled up on the beanbag where Henrietta sat talking to her mother during the summer. Her mother was an Antarctic explorer and couldn't be contacted during the winter. Neither was Fuzzy dozing in the sack of new hay which stood by the back door, nor was he snoozing in the basket in front of the fireplace. This was almost Fuzzy's favourite place in the entire world. It could only be improved on when Ben was on the sofa, and then Fuzzy would doze on Ben's lap. Coco looked, but she knew in her heart that Fuzzy wasn't in any of these places. There's a picture of Coco looking. She knew he was no longer in the house. Feeling glum, she made her way to the cat flap, which had been put in by the previous owners of the house, and was the guinea pig's door to the garden. Hoping that Fuzzy might just have gone for a walk, she pushed her way out. Soon Coco was out in the open and sniffing the fresh spring air. It was not a very well-kept garden. The Blisses were not exactly keen gardeners. They felt keen when they woke up on a sunny Sunday morning, and they would rush out and buy some pretty plants and pop them into the soil, but by coffee time they would have flopped on the old wooden bench, gazing into each other's eyes. As a result, the garden consisted of drooping flowers, uncut lawn, and a wild hedge. The guinea pigs didn't mind about the mess. When they got the chance to sneak out into the garden, they would snuffle around, looking for comfy spots and tasty morsels. Today, though, Coco didn't feel hungry, not even for dandelions. She had to find Fuzzy. But she knew even as she looked in all their favourite places, it was no good. He wasn't in the garden either. Memories of the day before filled her mind. Scarlet Cleaver, guinea pigs wanted. She'd laughed at Fuzzy and said unkind things. Now he had disappeared. He'd gone to Scarlet Cleaver's new restaurant. Coco was sure of it. That's what he'd been doing at the computer, looking up the directions. It was all her fault. It didn't matter any more that Fuzzy had been unkind too. All she wanted was for him to come back. He was her best friend. She had to go after him, but she had no idea where the restaurant was, except that it was somewhere in Strawberry Park, along with the other 2,999 places to eat. Fuzzy had torn off the address from the newspaper in the hutch. She'd seen that already. Suddenly she had an idea. She scuttled over to the garden fence, which luckily had a panel missing. "Yoo-hoo!" she called into next door's garden. "Is that you, Coco?" cooed a honeyed voice in reply. "Yes, Banoffee, it is one. Have you got a minute?" Banoffee was the guinea pig who lived next door. She'd got her name because she was banana-coloured on her back and toffee-coloured on her tummy. Her hutch was up against the fence and had a loose panel at the back, so Banoffee could slide it back whenever she wanted a chat with Coco. "Do you want me to do your hair?" asked Banoffee excitedly as soon as she saw Coco. Banoffee loved doing hair. "No, thanks. I'm growing it for a change," said Coco. "A quick plait, then," Banoffee suggested, whipping out her comb. "Look, I haven't got time to talk hairstyles today, Banoffee," Coco exclaimed impatiently. "I've got a terrible problem. Fuzzy has gone." and she quickly explained to Banoffee about Scarlet Cleaver and the advert in the newspaper, and how Fuzzy had answered it thinking it meant real guinea pigs, although she left out the bit about her teasing him and being mean because she was embarrassed. One feels he's in danger and one must go and help him. Absolutely, said Banoffee sagely. Do you want me to act as your double while you're gone? No, said Coco quickly. Ben and Henrietta would never fall for that. Banoffee looked nothing like her. But I do need your help. Of course, said Banoffee. She grabbed one of Coco's front paws. Do you want me to do your nails? I've heard you should always look your best at a restaurant. No, squealed Coco, nearly overbalancing. I need to borrow one of your children. Well, why didn't you say so? Replied Banoffee cheerily, letting go. That's easy. Who do you want? I've got 14 here at the moment. Banoffee was a wonderful mother, which was just as well, because her owners were very keen on her having children. They sold some of them and kept others, so at any one time Banoffee had at least a dozen children living either with her or in the next hutch. I need one who's good at technology, Coco explained grandly. I need to get on the internet, like Fuzzy does, to find out the address of the restaurant and how to get there. I see, said Banoffee. Well, I can't let you have any of the little ones. They were only born last week and their feet won't be strong enough to work the keyboard. How about Terry? He's a wizard at computers. He's sorted out a Wi-Fi connection in the hutch. From the house came the sound of music. It was Wednesday, the Blisses' day off, and Ben and Henrietta always played a few tracks while they were getting dressed to get them in the mood for the cha-cha-cha, which they were learning at the town hall. Coco knew she had to get back in the hutch before they discovered that both their beloved pets were gone. Thanks, Banoffee. Send him over later, she said hurriedly, scampering away. After Ben and Henrietta go out for their dancing class. Coco raced across the garden, back through the cat flap and dived into the hutch. She pushed a pile of hay into the corner of the hutch, hoping the Blisses would think Fuzzy was still asleep. Ben would be terribly upset if he found out he was missing. Coco lay next to the pile of hay, pretending to sleep, trying to hide her breathlessness. Ben approached the cage, frowning, but he barely even looked inside. Instead, he called out woefully like a man who's just got a parking ticket. Oh, no, not this, please. Henrietta! Obviously, not everyone who has a parking ticket calls out Henrietta, only those whose wives are called Henrietta. Fuzzy's got out! Coco thought Ben must be awfully clever to know that Fuzzy had got out without looking. It was then that she realised she'd forgotten to shut the door of the hutch.